Hello everyone, welcome back to the Hobby Musician, and more specifically, welcome to the Workbench. I'm really excited about today's episode because today we are beginning another little mini series where we're going to be working on and doing some repairs and adjustments to the most recent addition to my instrument collection. I really like these videos because, as we've done previously on the channel, a lot of the projects I do on these instruments are very similar to projects you might be thinking about or needing to do to your own instruments. So hopefully along the way, you can learn something or watch something and apply it to your own playing. So without further ado, let's unveil what the project is going to be. I have here a Hondo 2 Professional Series bass. Now, a couple of notes about this before we start to get into things. I personally have never actually owned a vintage instrument. Of all of the equipment that I've used and owned and played over the years, everything really has been modern, made within a couple years of whenever I purchased it. This is actually the first instrument that I've owned that is older than me. So where did I get it? Well, I heard about this instrument through a friend of a friend who was going through some relatives' old storage spaces, and they came across several instruments. Now, there were some guitars, there were other things in the find, but my friend kind of quickly texted me and said, "Hey, I just came across a bass that you might be interested in." Now, you might be asking yourself, I don't know if I've ever heard of Hondo 2 or Hondo instruments, and that's okay. They were small, it wasn't a very large kind of a company. The particular instrument that I have wasn't produced for very many years, so there are actually only a few of these around. Now, through looking at serial numbers and doing some homework, my friend also was able to tell me that this particular bass, according to what they could find on the numbers, this bass was made in 1980, and it was probably made in Japan. And at the time, for this company, there were two different locations that the instruments were made. One location was in Korea, and the other was in Japan. And as it turned out, when players started to get their hands on these basses, they started to see that the Hondo 2, the professional line that was made in Japan, just turned out with a little bit higher craftsmanship. The construction on these instruments, the components used to put these together were just a little better than the non-professional series that they also produced. In fact, the most appealing element of these instruments, and what they're still sought after today, are the pickups themselves. These are DiMarzio pickups, and everything in this instrument is the original stock, what they came with. These DiMarzio pickups really quickly gained a reputation for being great sounding, high quality, and that's what drove people to pursue these instruments. Now, the downside is when they found this particular one, my friend told me, he said, "Hey, I got a great instrument for you, but it's going to need a little bit of love." So today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the overview of the work we're going to accomplish over the next few episodes. And then we're going to start today. We're going to do a big deconstruction and an overall cleaning. Here's a couple quick things that we noticed. This instrument has been sitting in some storage space for a long time. There is a ton of dirt and dust and grime that's just going to need cleaning. So that's not really hard work, but I've pulled out Q-tips, I've got compressed air, I've got rags that we'll pull out. So there's going to be a lot of cleaning. There's just dust everywhere. But in terms of repair, one of the things that happened is the pickup selector switch right here at some point has snapped off. I did a quick test before I started filming this, and all of the pickups work, and if you get your fingernail in there, you can actually use your thumb and change from the pickups. All the pots work. There's signal that comes from this bass. So this is just a replacement kind of a situation. Now, in terms of the electronics, I also took off the cavity so you can see in here. I was talking about the craftsmanship a bit ago. This is actually really well soldered and put together. They did a great job for grounding and shielding of these different cavities. So as we said earlier, this is going to be this is the back of the pickup selector cavity. So I've got a replacement. We'll be kind of swapping that out. But I'm really just going to do some dusting and again, Q-tipping to get some dirt and grime out of this cavity. The other thing that I noticed is that when it comes down to the tuning pegs, if you look here, and I'll try to put some close-up pictures as well, the cavities, the covers, and the pegs themselves um, have some rust. And what I want to do is I've got different products. I've got like deoxit, and we'll try some other natural remedies. But one note that I want to make about rust. Um, this base has scratches on it. Like, I mean, the body has scratches. It's been played. I don't mind scratches. That kind of shows, it's been loved on a little bit. Rust is a different story. If you have an instrument that's starting to show corrosion or rust, on any of the metal parts, that's something that you want to take care of, because a scratch is just a cosmetic thing. Rust becomes a structural thing. Rust actually degrades the material. Rust breaks down metal. Scratches don't break down wood. Now, some people don't like scratches and they might want to fix that. That's okay. So in essence, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing an overall cleaning, which we'll accomplish today. We're going to do some wiring replacements, make sure everything works, and then we're going to try to do some rust removal. So this project isn't a true restoration. I'm not restoring it to its original glory because I kind of like the scratches and the nicks and stuff. I'm okay with that. So it's not a restoration, and it's not just strictly a repair, because I am going to restore some parts of it. So I'm kind of calling this project a repair-storation because we got a little bit of both. So with that, what I'm going to do is I'll start a time lapse now. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to start to deconstruct. I'm going to pull the bridge off, pull all the hardware off so that we can really do a deep clean and see where we get to. So enjoy the time lapse of that process, and we'll be back in a second to see how it goes. So, all right, hang tight. Okay, everybody, we are done with the basic kind of deconstruction and general cleaning. As you could see in the time lapse, I was going over basically every part of this. I took off the bridge, as you can see here. I took off the tuning pegs you can see up there. And just in general, as I was going and cleaning all the different parts, I was also paying attention. We talked at the top of the video about the various things that I kind of already knew that I was going to have to do to repair or restore. But as I was going, I wanted to keep an eye out for anything I might have missed. And the good news was the basic things that we talked about are about the only things I think I'm going to have to repair or restore. But already, just with the general cleaning, things look so much better. I'll put up some close-ups here, but you can see already that something specific like the bridge, you can see just starting out how caked with dust and lint and everything it is. And then now, with all of that stuff gone, you can see, yeah, there's some corrosion in there and little bits that may be difficult to get out, but it already looks so much better. It looks so much more playable. Same thing with the pickups. There was so much dirt and dust just lodged in between all those things. I was able to use kind of Q-tips, and then I pulled out just a tiny little screwdriver and some clean cloths to kind of dig down and get all that stuff out. Same thing with the neck, kind of coming up and down here. I noticed that for having sat for so long, that some of the strings and the finger oils and stuff had really kind of stained up the neck, but with some oil and some elbow grease, we were able to get all of that stuff cleaned right off. The headstock looks really nice, and I did the same thing in the electronics cavities. I went in and you could see I had my compressed air gun, and I was using Q-tips and that compressed air, and I was able to blow out. There were literal cobwebs in these cavities, and I was able to get rid of those. So, with all of that kind of done, we're ready to take this to the next step. So, come on back and join us in future episodes as we complete this. And as always, thanks for watching. And until next time, play on, my friends. Play on.